A lackluster start to Week 10 on Thursday night as the Denver Broncos just get past the Las Vegas Raiders 10-7 and our six-pack of picks for Week 10 on today's NFL Six-Pack.
This is Locked On's NFL Six-Pack. 6 bold takes from 2 guys who just flat out know football. NFL experts Matt Williamson and Brian Peacock bring pure NFL talk. Great takes, no fluff, just honest football talk. Crack one open. It's NFL Six-Pack on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the NFL Six-Pack. We are going to be making our six-pack of picks for our favorite games in Week 10 in just a minute. We got to start with the Thursday nighter that kicked it all off this week of NFL football. Post-trade deadline, some new look teams out there that we're going to talk about in our six-pack as well. This episode of NFL Six-Pack is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. And appreciate everybody joining us. And welcome back, everybody that was on Spotify that couldn't find the podcast for a few days because of the whole logo name switch. Broke the system at Spotify for whatever reason. So I know some of you who weren't able to get the podcast and had to go to other places to find it. And so apologies for making you come look at our faces on YouTube while you listen to the NFL Six-Pack this week, but everything back to normal now with all of the feeds. Make sure you're all subscribed up on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you are listening to this podcast. And let's start this thing off by talking about, I used your word. I said, Matt, what word did you use to describe Broncos Raiders from Thursday night? And you said some other words that were uglier, but lackluster, I think, was a great way to put it. So I used that in the open, and 17 combined points from these football teams. And it wasn't because there was just some awesome defense being played on both sides. There was some okay defense, but a really ugly one, 10-7. Raiders jumped on the board early with 7 points in the first quarter, didn't score again in this game as that Broncos defense did stiffen up, but just some ugly quarterback play on both sides. And really neither team able to get anything going in any aspect of their offense.
Yeah, it made me realize yet again why I think Thursday Night Football is such a bad product. I mean, now this could have been as bad a game on a Sunday or a Monday night or a Sunday night or whatever, but I do think Thursday Night Football is shortchanging the audience and really, really hard on the players. Now, big picture, this is a great win for Denver. I mean, not what they did on the field. The fact that they beat a division foe, and I think they only play one game in the next 23 days. So they should be like super rested. Surtain should be back in the mix. They could be primed for a really good run. But let's stick with them. I mean, I think we have to have a Bo Nix conversation at some point. I know he's only a second-year player, and we should not overreact to young quarterbacks. They still have so much growing to do no matter what. But he's a very uneven player. And I think there's this misconception that he's this play it close to the vest, paint by numbers, Alex Smith type. He's not at all. I mean, he goes rogue a lot and makes some decisions that are like, what are you thinking? And I bet Sean Payton doesn't love that. But their defense is awesome, and their pass rush is awesome, and they have an O-line, and I think Denver is going to be a tough out no matter what. And they're setting themselves up mathematically with their win-loss record and their tiebreakers to be in really good shape. But overall, I thought this was a really poorly played game. I mean, it's just penalties galore. Like, one example, offense was hard to come by for everybody, but the Raiders finally break a nice run to Genty for like 30 yards. And the wide receiver nowhere close to the play outside the numbers on an up the middle run gets a bad holding call. Like, I mean, part of me is like, why'd you even throw the flag? It's inconsequential, but most of me is just like, what are you doing, man? You know, like, have some discipline, understand the environment you're in. And the Raiders to me are kind of a disaster.
Yeah, so let's go back real quick to the Broncos, because I want to add to that about Bo Nix. And you can't overreact to a small sample. He had a nice rookie year.
Yeah.
And then, had some ups and downs. And as I always say, the development path for quarterbacks is not linear. So just because they're going in one direction doesn't mean they're going to keep going that direction every single week and every single year. I think he's taking a step back a little bit this year. And the concerning part for me is it's not that small of a sample because it's this was probably his worst game, maybe as an NFL player.
Maybe.
Just kind of off and the ball not getting to where he needs it to go. And missing some big opportunities potentially, I think is a big one. So if you're going to put the ball in harm's way and throw interceptions and not hit any big plays on top of it, because you see some, volatile quarterbacks, but they're big game hunting. And I don't know if it's really that with Bo Nix. It's not Alex Smith, like you mentioned, but it's not, there's opportunities to be had. Did have the 143 yarder to Pat Bryant, which was the big play of the game. But you have a guy like Troy Franklin who's built for yards per catch, right? And he's 5 catches for 40 yards. And this dink and dunk guy all of a sudden, that doesn't even Troy Franklin. So I just don't know that it's all coming together the way that Sean Payton wants and that Bo Nix wants. But here's the thing is it goes back to his 6-year college career. So it's not a small, this is who Bo Nix has always been.
Yeah. Good point. Right point.
You're going back to 2 different colleges and now a couple of years in the NFL. So I just think that's who he's going to be. And it's why I wasn't as high on him as a first round pick. And I think he could be a good quarterback and a starting NFL quarterback, but is he a guy that's going to give you the returns of he is the franchise guy. We're going to put the team on his back. And he's that first round quarterback that is the face of the franchise and leads us to the glory land. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that or expect to see that from Bo Nix. And, don't want to overrate one game again, but there's been enough evidence that these kind of games are going to happen for Bo Nix, maybe too often. But this is definitely, I think, the worst of his career. A couple interceptions in this one. And 10-7. But again, with the Broncos, big win. You're 8-2 right now. Even if you lose that one game in the next 23 days, you're going to have one of the top records in the AFC after all that rest for the stretch run. So that is a good place to be. And, maybe a refresh for Bo Nix to come back a little hotter after the mini bye here and then the full bye.
And I think that game is against Chiefs for the Broncos. So, I mean, you get a well-rested, perfect time to get them type of situation.
Yes.
I just want to reiterate one thing you said about Nix that I really agree with. He's not Brett Favre where you can live with leading the league in interceptions because he makes so many big plays. I mean, the real positive highs are not outweighing the lows.
Mm-hmm. Completely. Ashton Genty had this conversation off the air with Eric Crocker last night because we recorded our Locked On 49ers after the Thursday night game. Was Genty overrated as a prospect coming in?
I thought the same thing watching this game.
He doesn't look like, he's a good player. He's got balance. The dude is rocked up. He's not easy to tackle. He's got ability. But at this day and age, and look, I already don't draft the running back number 6. You already know how I feel about that. Even
right.
The biggest stud on the planet.
But he's not the biggest stud on the planet.
Yeah, there's a level of high-end explosiveness that he doesn't, I don't think, have that other top running backs that have gone top 10 in the NFL draft do have. And
everyone just blames his surroundings, and that's giving him a little too much credit.
It's not the only reason, though. Yeah. But I'm looking at Stone Forsythe. You got to get him out of there. The Raiders have a 3rd-round project of a Charles Grant, smaller school tackle that has a lot of ability. Get him on the football field. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot wrong with the Raiders.
There's a lot wrong.
The Broncos are playing the Raiders with how bad they played this week.
And Kenny Pickett comes in for 3 plays. Geno can't do anything, and they don't trust Pickett enough to even get him off the field in a season where they're not going anywhere. But Geno was in such pain late in that game. And I hesitate to say this because I'm not an effort guy. I don't like calling players out for effort, but there were a handful of Genty plays where I thought he was loafing. Go make a tackle when Denver gets the ball, or I know he runs hard, but there's times too where he kind of looks lost and he's kind of jogging around through his routes too. And I don't know. I think he's a really good prospect, but he's not Bijan or Saquon or Yeah.
Brock Bowers too. I feel like the amount of time that I saw 89 in the Raiders uniform on the broadcast screen versus what his box score looks like is just really weird. And at this point, when you got a player like Brock Bowers, who's your entire offense because you can't get the running game going, as well as you would like. And, you brought in Tyler Lockett, who ends up being your top receiver in this game, 5 for 44 yards. I don't know if you think that maybe he's a sneaky ad for your fantasy football teams. But Brock Bowers, 1 catch, 3 targets. He did have a quote unquote carry in this game for -4 yards. I don't know. How do you not get a dozen targets to Brock Bowers?
It's funny because I don't do a lot of betting, but I bet the over receiving yards on Bowers. That's the only thing I did, bet I made last night. And I'm just like staring him down going, he just came off a huge game. They're going to pelt this guy with targets. And I wonder, was the error of my thinking, Denver's just a great defense and realize that's all they got. And if I watched the all 22, was that they just totally concentrated 1,000% on him. And I'm making excuses for him, and I'm making excuses for me for making a dumb bet. But coming off an injury, did the short week, like if your first game back from the injury and then your next game has to be a short week on the road, I bet your body does not respond well.
Not happy with you that
right. Like, dude, give me 7 days.
Right. That's a good point there. That's a good point. But the Broncos improved to 8-2. Still a big win, important win for them in the context of this season. And the Raiders continue to stack up losses, 2-7 now on the 2025 season. Let's get to our 6-pack of favorite games on the schedule for Week 10. Make some picks next. Today's episode of the NFL 6-pack brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Say yes to making the switch and get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and all your same contacts. Setup is super easy. You keep the number, you're running in minutes, and it's the same quality service you had before, but for a fraction of the price. So you're ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/lockedonnfl. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnfl. Upfront payment of $45 required. That's equivalent to the $15 a month for 3 months. Unlimited new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabyte on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. It is you got to have this app in your pocket, period, if you're a sports fan. And with the NBA season back, obviously a lot of NFL fans that we're talking to, it's nothing better, right? Being in the stadium, surrounded by your fans, cheering on your favorite team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, logging in screens, prices jumping at checkout, super frustrating. That's why I use Game Time. I always check Game Time before I buy any tickets to a sporting event or a concert. The app is, the app gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast. It's easy. Backed by the Game Time guarantee. Always 100% authentic tickets, delivered on time, and at the best price. And the best part, all fees included. So the price you see is the price you paid. None of those jumping hidden fees at checkout. So, and phenomenal last-minute deals as well at Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Here we go. 6-pack of picks for Week 10. We're going to go to Tampa, who are well rested, coming off a bye, and they are favored by 2.5 points over the New England Patriots. These are two teams that are trying to stay in first place, and maybe a little bit surprising that the New England Patriots are where they are right now. An upstart football team. Drake May is playing awesome. They're at 7-2. Going to be battling with the Buffalo Bills down the stretch there in the AFC East, and the Buccaneers have a little bit of company with the 5-4 Panthers, which was kind of a surprise of that division. You thought maybe the Buccaneers might run away with this thing, and if the team that would be nipping on their heels or maybe in front of them would be the Atlanta Falcons, who we'll talk about a little bit later in our 6-pack. It is the Bucs hosting the Patriots. Home Bucs favored by 2.5 points.
I still think Tampa is about to run away with the division. I mean, I think Carolina is a fugazi. I really do. I mean, they can run the ball, but I'm not on board with them as a contender. I also think coming off a bye is very helpful for Tampa. They've had a lot of injuries throughout the course of the year. I think all those older dudes will be very happy about it, and the guys, the Wirfs that have come back from injuries and all those dudes. And frankly, I think New England's kind of due to be put in their place a little bit. Like, it's been a great year, but are you ready to deal with Todd Bowles and all the different things he's going to throw at the young quarterback? I think running against Tampa is going to be almost impossible. I think Tampa covers pretty easily. And I don't think we have questions about the Patriots after, but we go, that's, 5 steps forward, 1 step back.
What's the weather right now in your area?
It's very nice, actually.
Is it nice? Okay, because it's starting to
get
unseasonably
warm.
You can see it start to turn. One of my friends that lives way up north is like, I had to put my golf clubs in the garage and I'm not going to see him again for 6 months, kind of thing. So
okay.
We're starting to get there. It's November, right? And it's 82 degrees in Tampa. So I wonder if that's a factor. I don't know if it's cold in New England right now, and if it'll be a weirdly warm game for them. But I feel like 2.5 points is enough. That the Bucks by 3, Bucks by a field goal, I feel pretty confident about. So I'm going to give up the points. I'm going to take the home team Bucks here. It's going to be a fun matchup between two quarterbacks that have been playing at a high level this year. And while it is nice to get healthy, especially with some of the receivers that have been banged up for Tampa this year, you don't always come out of the bye like, oh my God, we were planning for this team for 2 weeks and we're ready to go and we crushed. I don't think it's that big of a just like, oh my God.
I don't either.
It's going to be amazing, but I do think it's helpful at this point.
Players have to get away from the facility now. Like, I think sometimes you can work the opposite way. Like, I'll go see my parents or go to the beach or, right.
And not be rusty, but you're at home visiting Patriots. I think you're right about the Patriots. They're a good football team. Are they just going to start like, is this them? They're going to have a 4-loss season, they might lose a couple of games as good as Drake May is playing, and I like what they're doing right now, but I got to take the Bucks in this one. 2.5 is not going to scare me off at home.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Baltimore Ravens favored on the road at the Minnesota Vikings. So here's an interesting one. Baltimore get their quarterback back, and they are a team that was aggressive at the deadline and somewhat aggressive. They made a move. They're going for it, even though they are a sub 500 football team. And they're at a team that I can't figure out, in the Minnesota Vikings, who played one of their better games of the season last week. Got a big win. They're at 4-4. They have the better record. They're at home, but the road team is favored by 4.5 points. To me, this feels like an easy take the home dog situation with how well the Vikings played last week. And both of these teams have been up and down. So it's not like the Ravens are a team that just because they played good last week and they got their quarterback back, that doesn't mean they've been awesome this year in their own right. So talk me out of this one. I've got Minnesota, and I'm taking those 4.5 points at home.
I can't talk you out of it at all. I'm taking the Vikes to win. I mean, awful place to play, unfamiliar opponent. It's not like Lamar sees Flores all that often, or vice versa for that matter. Both those guys are really hard to prepare for, quarterback and defensive coordinator. And I don't want to say I'm in on J.J. McCarthy, but I did watch the J.T. O'Sullivan breakdown of McCarthy and felt a lot better about him after watching that, going, he at least gives them some athleticism when the plays break down. I thought he played better than initial blush watching it on TV. And both lines of scrimmage for them are back to playing good football for the Vikings and healthy. Aaron Jones is back. Jefferson's as good as ever. I think these are reasonably equal teams, but it's in Minnesota and they're getting points.
And are the Ravens the team to pressure a young quarterback and coax him?
I don't think so.
Mistakes, right?
I don't think so.
Reason I kind of like this matchup. And can Brian Flores do his thing and create some problems for that Baltimore Ravens offense? And 4.5 points is a nice little bump for a home team. So give me Minnesota here. We're on the same page. 49ers are hosting the Los Angeles Rams, an important game in the West. Both these teams are going to be battling with the Seattle Seahawks as well in this division. All three teams playing pretty well, winning a lot of football games. In fact, the last time the Rams lost, it was that Thursday nighter, which was kind of a shocker post-Bosa injury, where everyone was picking the Rams to beat the Niners on short rest with all the injuries, and the 49ers won that football game in overtime. But the Rams haven't lost since, and in fact, since week 5, they had a bye week in there too, which helps, but they haven't allowed more than 10 points in a game, and they've allowed only 20 points total in the 3 games since that loss to the 49ers in week 5. And Matthew Stafford's probably put himself right now in the MVP conversation as well. I think
He'd be my vote if I picked today.
21-2 touchdown to interception ratio right now. I was actually looking back at doing some prep for this week and looking back at Stafford's stats this year and then past years. And I thought he was a little bit wilder in the interception department than he has been.
I know.
This year he's been Aaron Rodgers like with the way he is. He's still throwing touchdown passes and not throwing interceptions, but he's been pretty good on the interception tip for a while. And even when he led the league in interceptions a few years back, it was only 17 interceptions, but he threw 41 touchdown passes that year too.
Yeah, the ratio is really, really good now, and it has been for some time. You're 100% right. Before I pick it, refresh me on recent matchups between Shanahan and McVay. I know the most recent one.
The Shanahan has a big advantage.
I thought so. Okay.
Yes. Over their careers, Rams have the important one on their way to a Super Bowl. Aside from that, it's a huge Shanahan advantage versus John McVay. I
know there's been some rock, paper, scissors in that division, and I knew this was a big one, and I thought it favored the Niners. I'm still taking the Rams. I have all the respect in the world for this. Might be Shanahan's best coaching job. You know that better than me, but the way that they lose players has been remarkable. I just think the Rams are a top 2 or 3 team in the league right now. You know, led by Stafford. I don't know what's wrong with the Rams. I think they're loaded.
The Rams should be favored, but again, division opponents. The Shanahan McVay thing and the home team getting 4.5 points. This is similar to that Minnesota game where I'm going to take the points, even though I think there's a good chance that the Rams win this by a field goal. I just don't see a Rams blowout. So more than 3 points, home dog, 49ers, division opponents. Despite the injuries, I'm going to go 49ers here and take those 4.5 points at home.
Is this kind of like Steelers Ravens where you just should always take the points?
I think so. That's not a bad way to look at it at all.
I tell people that all the time. Like, I don't care what the spread is. It could be 2029. I'm just going to take the points in Steelers Ravens. You know,
there's certainly a path though to the Rams. Obviously, clearing the 4.5 points there, and I'm kind of waiting for it. We've seen some games. There was the Texans game with the Niners. Like, oh gosh, is it really going to fall apart now? It's too much. They come back and they win another game. And they've just been so competitive and staying in it. And so, you know, good coaching and. They've gotten some good backup quarterback play from Mac Jones, and obviously Christian McCaffrey touched the ball 30 times a game, and I'm sure it's going to be no different on Sunday.
Oh, I'm sure he's the whole engine of the offense as he has been. Although I could see a Kittle blow-up game coming here soon.
That we've been calling it.
Team's begging for it.
It's sort of like the Brock Bowers thing and Crockett. This is a years-long thing. This is like he's one of the best weapons and mismatches in the NFL. How does he not get 10, 12 targets a game, no matter what? But he hasn't been. He only has 12 catches on the year right now. Out 5 weeks with the hamstring too. But
still, right.
Kittle game. This could be a Kittle game. We'll find out on Sunday. We got more games from this week's NFL 6-pack of picks, including a really good one, Monday Night Football, with the Philadelphia Eagles visiting the Green Bay Packers next. This episode of the NFL 6-pack brought to you by Prize Picks and the Prize Picks app. And Prize Picks is the simplest way to play when you want to get on any of this NFL action or NBA action. And it is simple. All you do is you just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you get them right, you win. It takes only 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere. Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And since it's so quick and easy, you can make multiple lineups and mix and match them any way you want to. And come on, we make decisions every single day, but Prize Picks is the only place where those decisions being right can actually pay off. So don't miss the excitement of this season, whether you're following the NFL, the NBA, or both. And how about stacking your picks as well? For example, let's say Steph Curry. You can stack his points, threes, and assists all in the same lineup. And there's an injury reboot that can save your team from a loss if a player leaves early and doesn't return with an injury. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. The Atlanta Falcons are at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are the best team record-wise in the NFL. and they are favored by quite a bit at the visiting Atlanta Falcons. 6.5 points right now is the Colts with Sauce Gardner in tow now, favored in this one in Week 10 against the Falcons. How do you like it? And what do you expect to see from this Indianapolis Colts team down the stretch that are clearly going for it after giving up 2 first-round picks?
Yeah. So I would imagine they just tell Sauce, follow Drake. You and London are going to be buddies in Germany. London and Germany. Yeah.
Maybe the best week to have added Sauce too, versus
because
with a guy who it's like, you are better than him. He's a tall receiver. You're more athletic than he is. You are going to be on him. We're going to deal with the rest of this football team and have the other 10 eyes on Bijan Robinson.
I was just thinking, what a weird week though for Sauce. Like, you go in this huge trade, go acclimate yourself with the Colts like 3 days ago, get on a plane to Germany.
Right. Let's go to Indianapolis. Let's go. Let's get some of that. Let's get a
St. Elmo's. Yeah.
Oh no, actually, wait. You're gonna go get some sauerkraut. We're going to Germany.
Yeah. Right. They get to know your players on the flight and your new teammates and all that. And Sauce, don't worry about the game plan. Just follow London around in Frankfurt or whatever the heck the game's at. I did so much Colts homework because the Steelers just played them, and I was shocked by that Steeler-Colts result. But I'm not going to change my tune on this team. I think it's the best offense in the league. I think the defense got better. A guy I think we both like coming out of college, Latu, has really leveled up this year, I think, as well. And I don't trust Atlanta at all. I think they're so all over the place. I think the Colts can just run and control things with when I previewed Steelers Colts, I'm like, there's only one position I don't really like on the Colts team, and that's corner. And now,
yep.
I think they're loaded.
Yeah. I think that I didn't do as much homework on the Colts as you have, but just based on what I've seen from them, I think they are a good football team, but I don't know how much they've been tested. And when they have been tested, they've lost a couple games. They lost to the Rams, which is the best opponent that's been on their schedule so far. Mm-hmm. And they've beaten up on the Titans twice. They beat the Dolphins. They beat basically every bad team is who the Colts have played this year. So I want to see what it looks like.
They wiped the floor with bad teams, but
yeah, right, true. And they put up 40 to 3 against the Saints. Was it? Or their teams? I can't remember. But I don't think the Falcons are that team that is capable of stopping Jonathan Taylor in that run game, first of all, and then that's how everything's built off of that. 6.5 points, though, is a lot for a game that I think might be shortened because of the ground game, too, though. And so
I also think overseas games are weird.
Weird overseas, yeah, and almost like a Thursday nighter, right?
Yeah.
You just things could get clunky, and I agree 100% with you about the Atlanta Falcons. Don't trust them at all. I just would probably steer clear. I love the game. I love the Germany. I love the I love the way the Colts are playing right now. 6.5 is a lot of points for me, and it's not actually a home game. So I'm going to take the points, and I think the Colts are just going to run them out of there, but it's not going to be a big high-scoring affair. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to take the points with Atlanta, but I do think the Colts will win outright. I just don't like how many points this is. And to be honest with you, we look at this on Sunday morning, it might even climb over 7 points, which would make me feel better about it. Of the 6, I like this one the least, but I'm taking the points.
They got to get Bijan going.
Right. Yeah. In every facet.
Get him the ball a ton.
I can't wait to see. I think it's next week maybe that the Colts play the Bucs or somebody. I just want to see the Colts play somebody and be like, okay, they played a good team and they whooped them. Like, this is a good football team. I want to see that, and just haven't had a chance to see that quite yet.
No, I hear you.
Your Pittsburgh Steelers are in Los Angeles to face.
They're at Kansas City next week.
Oh,
so that counts. Well, no, they have a bye in between after the long road trip.
Okay, so then then Kansas City. Okay, there we go. So Indianapolis, Kansas City. That'll no doubt be on our 6-pack in a couple of weeks here. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in Los Angeles at the Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2.5 points at home versus Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh travels, so this is not a big home advantage.
There'll be 2/3 Steeler fans. Sunday night, go to California for the weekend. I mean, that's an easy ticket to steal off the home team.
Every Steeler fan in the West Coast is going to be there.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I know people are going from here. I mean, like, it's great trip to earmark before the season even started. I like the Chargers. I adore Herbert. I really like their wealth of weapons now, like Gadsden and like Trey Harris is playing more. Like they got more good receivers, not great, than they know what to do with. I just think this is a perfect time to play them because they have the worst offensive line in the league right now. Brandon Thorne I know you're familiar with him. I think he's the best O-line guru out there. He did his O-line ranks, had them 32nd. I mean, we're talking about after the injuries, and Steelers pass rush is very legit. Their front is very, very good. I think Rodgers just kind of manages the game. Steelers win on the quote on the road. Primetime games are a Tomlin thing too. I just think that the Chargers, I think it's the beginning of the end for the Chargers because I don't think they can block anybody.
Yeah, that's tough. Trevor Penning, I don't think is, it's a Band-Aid on a shark's bite.
Right.
And the Steelers are built in a way, and based on, because they hadn't played a lot of great defense this year, but what I saw last week was definitely encouraging for that Steelers team. And you're getting points going to the Chargers. I think it'd be a close football game, and this is one where whoever got the points is probably going to get my pick. And so, I'm gonna take those 2.5 points and take the visiting Steelers versus the Chargers here, and I think that pass rush can get home.
One little nerdy thing that I do is if you check my Twitter timeline, I cut and pasted a graph that Pro Football Focus put together, and the graph shows the value of turnovers and special teams. The Steelers, as usual, it's a Tomlin thing, are far and away like the best in the league when you combine those things. Chargers are like the worst in the league. I mean, it's just the hidden stuff does not.
The margins, yes. Some games are won and lost in the margins.
Yeah, people always ask, how does Tomlin get this team to over 500 every year? Like, he's really good at that stuff.
Am I crazy? There's been lines this year where I was like, I must be crazy. And then it ends up being that I am crazy and I'm wrong. And the lines are right. How are the Philadelphia Eagles not favored? The Philadelphia Eagles have played better and are a better team than the Green Bay Packers right now. The 6-2 Eagles are on the road at the 5-2-1 Green Bay Packers Monday Night Football. It's not a lot of points, but is a point and a half that the Green Bay Packers at home are favored against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just lukewarm on the Packers. I think on paper, they're an awesome football team. They should be one of the best teams in the NFL, but they haven't put teams away. They let people hang around. And I think the Eagles are well equipped to take advantage of that against the Packers. And
losing Kraft, I think, is massive. Mm-hmm. And again, like I just did a ton of work on the Packers because that's the team the Steelers played before the Colts. And the more I watched Kraft, the more I studied him, I think he's a potential Kittle-like player. I mean, that he could be a dominant dude, and clearly their most dangerous guy. Now he's out of the equation. Their receivers are sort of up in the air. I'm lukewarm, I guess, still on I guess that's the right word as I say the Packers. I was going to say I'm flat out cold on the Packers, but I'm not going to be that hard on them. I am lukewarm on them. Room temperature on them.
Room temperature cheese.
I think the Eagles, though, are set to blow up. I mean, 3 defensive additions as well as like Brandon Graham. Hurts playing pretty well. O-line's healthy. I think the Eagles could make a real statement in this game, and we'll be like, oh, they're number 1 in the power rankings again.
I could see the one path I could see, and the argument is that that Jordan Love has a huge game here, and they're able to continue to block guys up despite the addition on that defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're able to get it blocked up front, and maybe this unlocks something on the outside, and you don't have your Whoopi and Kraft to be your leading receiver anymore. And I want to see somebody break out on the outside. I want to see Golden or
Watson even.
Yeah, Watson. Like, who's going to be that number 1 now for Love? And maybe it unlocks something on the outside and some bigger plays potentially against a secondary that has been able to be had this year in Philadelphia.
Possibly. I mean, they did trade for 2 corners. I don't know how well they'll fit in. I don't know if Jari Alexander is any good anymore, but still, I hear you. I mean, like, this is why we drafted you, Matthew Golden. Come on,
Right. Yeah, I'm still waiting to see how they want to use him. He's been sort of just not a big part of the offense at all for the Green Bay Packers yet. And we do see rookie receivers really start to break out at this point of their rookie seasons. And I expect to see that from some of the rookies around the NFL. Is Matthew Golden that one this week? And if not him, somebody else on the outside for Jordan Love with no Tucker Kraft. So that's one thing I'll be looking for. But I do like taking the 1.5 here for the Philadelphia Eagles.
If I'm room temperature on the Packers, I'm red hot on fire for the Eagles right now.
Okay. Yeah, the melted nachos cheat.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Burn the roof of your mouth. Right.
There we go. That's our 6-pack of picks for week 10. Let us know what you think at BD Peacock, at Williamson NFL. Get your questions in for our mailbag next week while you're watching those football games. If something pops in your mind, you can always drop a comment and a question on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there. Matt and I back Monday, breaking it all down right here on the NFL 6-pack.